Hey everybody, Rich here, and I'm going to do my favorite soundtracks. And I've tried to keep it to 10 just so I focus myself and don't end up with a stack of 50 here and make a half-hour long video. Also, because I have a hard time focusing and I'm old, I'm sure I'll include a couple honorable mentions at the end of this. Even though I've probably seen this movie dozens of times by now, I will still watch it whenever it's on. Certainly an all-timer as far as movie soundtracks go, and really showcases the extraordinary abilities of Harry Connick Jr. I had spoken previously about how sometimes music can be a time machine that takes you back to a certain place. This one right here actually takes me back to an exact day. Sometime in 1993, when this was first put on my stereo in my bedroom. It's unforgettable. So beautiful. Really, that's a handsome son of a bitch right there. I mean, wow, the soundtracks are incredible. We're not only gifted with incredible songs from Jimmy Cliff, star of the movie, reggae legend, but also some of the finest from Toots and the Maytals and the immortal Rivers of Babylon from the Melodians. A very important song. And for some reason, I've got 3 copies of this damn record, and they're all reissues. That's my own fault, but I'm still on the look to find an OG in the wild, and definitely to find a Jamaican pressing whenever I can, because that's kind of a nerdy focus I do on all the reggae that I love, is I want to get the Jamaican versions. So it's Tough Gong for Bob Marley and the Wailers, and Intel Diplo for Anything I Want from Peter Tosh, and on and on. Rockers, 1979. Released the same year as The Harder They Come, and hits every bit as hard, maybe even harder at some points. Incredible up and down, but highlighted, certainly, by Steppin' Razor from Peter Tosh, Police and Thieves from the mighty Junior Murvin, Rockers from Bunny Wailer, and Sata Masagana from Third World. All classics. Not a lot of people have this one, and it's very affordable, so I suggest you go get yourself a copy of it. And what will be kind of a theme of this is movies that kind of mystify me and I don't really enjoy, but I actually live for the soundtracks. Inside Llewyn Davis, 2013, classic Coen Brothers movie, and the first time I got to hear anything from Oscar Isaac. Also a very rare example in this video, in the pile I made as well, of a movie that I absolutely love. I can't say that I have a favorite because I love every single song on here so much. But if I had to choose, I imagine it would be The Last Thing on My Mind from Stark Sands and the Punch Brothers. This is another one that I have a tendency to get very obsessive about, seeking out every pressing that I possibly can. And that's left me, I think, with 6 copies of this. I have the throwback price version that was limited. I've got a couple of the Vinyl Me Please versions, a couple of the OGs, and I think I still need the Japanese press, if there is one. Now I gotta go on Discogs and look that up. And I will include this diamond here for anybody who isn't aware of it. You can include this along with your Inside Llewyn Davis soundtracks if you're into that sort of thing. This is the live concert at New York Town Hall, Another Day, Another Time. This includes some of the finest live performances that I have ever heard. There's also a companion movie. You have to absolutely check it out if you like the music from this soundtrack or even just this genre. With performances from the incredible Punch Brothers, Jack White, Gillian Welch and David Rawlings, Connor Oberst, Willie Watson, and the very incredible Milk Carton Kids, who, after seeing this performance, led me to go out and buy everything that they've released and seen them live, and will purchase anything that they put out ever. Lake Street Dive, Rhiannon Giddens, and the incredible Avett Brothers as well. This one is packed, top to bottom. Car Wash, 1976. Compiled and produced by Norman Whitfield, but this is really the Rolls Royce show right here, with a little bit of awesome Richard Pryor included and one joint from the Pointer Sisters. A rare occurrence in this pile that I set aside for this video, and that there's a movie I absolutely love. This came out in 1976, so I was way too young to see it at the theater, but I do remember seeing it on VHS pretty early and always enjoying it, especially since there's Richard Pryor in it, who I've been a lifelong fan of. And as a tribute to his character and the DJ for Third Base, I've been called Daddy Rich for a long time, and I don't mind that at all. Favorites on here include I Want to Get Next to You, the Daddy Rich one, obviously, Doing What Comes Naturally, and Keep On Keeping On. Man, I can't even. This one means too much. I'm going to have to give this one another try in a minute. All This and World War II, 1976. I've only had this for about 10 or 15 years at this point, but if somebody had told me that all these stars were getting together to cover Beatles songs for this soundtrack, I'd have probably bought it back when I was a kid. And I really only became aware of this one after randomly hearing the Strawberry Fields Forever cover done by Peter Gabriel, and was absolutely floored. I mean, Peter Gabriel does a lot of things very well, but he knocks that one out of the park, and it led me to finding this soundtrack. I mean, the Bee Gees, Brian Ferry, Rod Stewart, Leo Sayer, Jeff Lynne, Keith Moon, and Elton John round out the list of the superstars on this record. And I still have yet to see this damn movie. This thing ain't easy to find. And I got this double album for $5. It's totally worth it, and I bet you if you went looking as well, you could find it pretty cheap, because a lot of people have never heard of it and really have no idea what's on it. So find yourself a copy if you can. If you're a Beatles fan or a fan of any of the bands and singers that I previously mentioned, you're going to really love this. (1984) Prince's Purple Rain soundtrack. I'm really not sure what I can include in this that hasn't already been said before, but start to finish incredible, and a showcase for all the talents of Prince. Except maybe acting, but that's not his fault or his problem.
Damn, this light.
And of course, my personal favorites are the title track, Darling Nikki, and I Would Die For You, but I still listen to this all the way through without ever lifting the needle. Oh, I still got the poster in this one. Sweet. Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, 1977. Another of my all-time favorites here. Although, when this came out, I was about 5 or 6 years old and really had no idea what Saturday Night Fever was. It was kind of the only thing that would keep me from playing on Sunday morning, would be having Saturday Night Fever. But I was also probably too young to even see the damn movie, but I remember that. Although there are some great other artists on this album, including Yvonne Elliman and the mighty MFSB, this is a Bee Gees joint, top to bottom, and that's kind of why they're on the cover. If this had only How Deep Is Your Love and If I Can't Have You and More Than a Woman, it'd still be worth whatever it costs to buy it. All-time classics. And yeah, 5 and 6-year-old little Richie trying to bust this exact move here and the other one seen in the movie. It wasn't really happening though. And here's a question I've had for quite a little while. I've got a couple of copies of this, and they're both the same in this respect, and I've never seen anybody else mention it anywhere else. But if you open the gatefold and look inside the first gatefold, you'll see there's little pictures in there, and I see John Travolta in there. It's just a piece of paper, but it's attached. Like, if I pulled this out, I think I would rip it. I mean, has anybody else ever seen this? Let me know. And now let's cue the old man talking about how awesome the 90s were. Very edgy stuff. The 90s weren't always awesome, and the music was kind of shit a lot of the times, but it made us appreciate things like this all the more. Well, there is no good story or acting to save this damn movie. The soundtrack is incredible and endures far beyond any impact that the picture had at the time, which I think was very manufactured anyway. Jeez, what a dog turd of a movie. Also, the inclusion of Smashing Pumpkins and Paul Westerberg might seem a little mystifying, and there's stories about that. But also, the exclusion of any music from Nirvana is also an interesting story if you're willing to look it up and read about it. And I love Matt Dillon too, but man, wasn't he like 40 years old at this point? So far, a lot of these have been kind of obvious choices, and this one will be yet another one. Curtis Mayfield, Superfly soundtrack from 1972. Masterpiece. Chock full of urgent and incredible funk. The masterpiece of all on this to me is the No Thing on Me, the Cocaine song. That is catchy as hell. It's got a good message. I like it. And of course, the title track and Pusher Man are pretty dope too. But get yourself a copy if you don't have one already. And the superlative Curtis Mayfield, who I'll probably end up doing a video on altogether, just on him and his music with the impressions, because he is that legendary and that important. Top Secret, 1984. I can almost feel my wife cringe just me holding this, because she knows that I will sing every song on this soundtrack. Unprompted, unwelcomed, and usually pretty goddamn loud. And this is no attempt at irony or just fucking with anybody. I absolutely adore this soundtrack and this movie. This movie is pivotal and important to me. Of course, your results may vary, but I love this and have seen this probably hundreds of times, easily a few hundred times. And I never tire of singing every single song in it and repeating every single line from the movie as well. And therefore, I usually end up watching this thing alone. My poor wife has seen enough. I've got this copy sealed. I've got a couple that are open. I've got the standard DVD. I've got the special edition DVD. Somewhere I had the soundtrack on CD. Had this on VHS. If there's any other format, I'm still looking for it. Man, if this was on 8-track, nah, it's too late for 8-track. And just one of the funniest movies ever made. Absolutely, 100%. Mel Brooks, History of the World Part 1, 1981. Like most of Mel Brooks's movies from the 1970s and early 80s, I was probably too young to be watching them and truly understand everything going on, but damn did I enjoy them. And also, there's not a lot of songs on this one, so this is more of an honorable mention just because I love the movie. But The Inquisition is an incredibly funny song, and also the Coming Attractions. That's good stuff.